Hello, I am Jaime Elizondo from Real World Ranching, where our goal is to help you achieve maximum profitability and productivity while improving your land the fastest. This is the third part of the series, The Importance of Monitoring for Success. Previously, I have explained why monitoring is so important and that you get what you inspect, not what you expect. We know that if we fail to plan, we are planning to fail. But then we need to inspect or monitor to make sure we are getting the results we expected when we started planning. If we do not monitor, we may make huge mistakes, especially when we use methods that contradict nature. So be aware. Today, I will talk about monitoring your soil, as your soil should improve under the Total Grazing program. If it does not, we need to know why, and to know we need to monitor. Please share the link to anyone who may benefit from this podcast, and thank you very much for your continued support. Soil in your farm or ranch should be alive with microorganisms, larger organisms, and insects. It should have a nice smell, high in fungi, mellow and crumbling, soft and friable, supporting healthy plants, animals, and people. A healthy soil will have a high humus content, and we need to be able to recognize what a high humus content soil does to plant growth. Seedlings will establish easily and will be vigorous when humus content is high, and it's why in England they call it a soil with good heart. When seedlings of legumes have a hard time establishing or die young, there surely is a low humus content in your soil. Now let's talk about soil life. Please stop using synthetic fertilizers as they kill soil life, which you absolutely need to avoid the high cost of synthetic fertilizers. With the high use of synthetic fertilizers, your soil becomes dependent on them, just like an addict. The fungi to bacteria ratio will determine how productive your soil will be without synthetic fertilizers. So aim for the highest fungi to bacteria ratio you can, as most soils have a very high bacteria population with a very low fungi population. And we need the opposite of that. Remember that bacteria will consume organic matter and release its nutrients, while fungi will create new humus that remains in your soil for longer time and create bounty or plentiful production in the future. So we want to create better soils by increasing the fungi population. Now remember that organic matter and humus are not the same, with humus being the stable fraction of organic matter that cannot be degraded further by the action of microorganisms. It is your soil's real fertility, and it's absolutely necessary to get a much higher grass or forage productivity and quality at a very low cost. All we need to do is understand how humus is formed and to follow nature in our grazing management and livestock selection guidelines. So let's review what a good soil should be. A good soil will make legume seedling establishment easy, with vigorous seedlings, larger than normal leaves, with no nutrients deficiency symptoms, and your livestock should be naturally healthy and productive. Insect populations and their predators will be abundant and diverse. Wildlife will be attracted to your property by the abundance and quality of your forage. Your soil will smell like forest floor, a musty fungal smell that is rich and pleasant like it smells before it starts to rain. Your soil should be soft and mellow with a good structure, rainfall infiltration, and crumbly texture, which means it is high in glomalin, the glue from fungi that binds the soil particles together to stop erosion. A healthy soil full of desirable plants with strong and deep roots will not erode easily. It becomes resilient. On the other hand, a degraded soil will have lost most of its humus, will have a metallic smell, legume seedlings will fail to establish looking sick and dying when very young, leaves of your forages will be much smaller, and productivity without synthetic fertilizers will be very low and with low quality. Nutrient deficiency symptoms will be prevalent in your forage. Your livestock will get sick often, and their productivity will tend to be low unless supplemented. Wildlife populations will be low and not as healthy. Insects and their predators will be at low numbers. Soil life will be very poor, and finally, your pocket will suffer. Isn't it better to create a much better soil high in humus, full of soil life, with abundant wildlife, biodiversity on top and under the soil by managing your grazing better? Yes, it is. And to monitor, we can do the following. Monitor organic matter changes in your soil every other year. Record your grass productivity in a simple way. Cow days harvested per acre per year. Evaluate insect populations and their predators. Evaluate the quality or breaks of our forages. Record your livestock performance. Record your livestock getting sick. Keep a tally on that. Evaluate your forages for nutrient deficiency symptoms. Evaluate your wildlife diversity, numbers, and health. Smell your soil. Evaluate how crumbly is your soil. Take a compaction test on your soil and evaluate water infiltration in your soil. The Total Grazing program will help you avoid overgrazing, which is the main culprit of low productivity and low humus creation, while maintaining very high stocking rates and stockpiling grass in large areas to avoid the high cost of high hay feeding in the difficult part of the year. Now remember what is overgrazing. It's regrazing a plant before it has fully recovered, and that has to do with harvest efficiency. The higher your harvest efficiency per grazing, the longer it will take for your herd to return to the first paddock being grazed in that season. Okay? Conclusion and recap. Number one, learn what a good and healthy soil looks, smells, feels, and can produce without costly synthetic fertilizers. Two, continually observe your soil life, insect life, wildlife, and health of plants in your property, especially observe legume seedlings. Three, take soil samples of organic matter every other year to monitor your progress. And smell your soil. Smell your soil. It's important. Four, test for fungi to bacteria ratio in your soil with a do-it-yourself kit twice a year. We need the highest fungi numbers possible per gram of soil. Five, remember that soil also grows upwards, so consider this when measuring your soil depth when sampling. Six, monitor your production per acre by recording cow days harvested per year of your soil to know if you are on the right track or need to adjust something in your grazing management. Seven, look for nutrient deficiency symptoms in your plants. Eight, evaluate the crumbliness of your soil. Nine, observe if water infiltration is improving after rain events or not. Is it running off? Is it infiltrating, or is it standing water? 10, check for a hard pan or measure compaction in your soil. Your soil should get softer and mellower under this type of management after a few years. Well, I hope you like this podcast and you can put it into practice. Thank you, and until next time, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube, or join us for the weekly email at www.rwranching.com/join. See you next time.